The tubes, YouTubes. Yep. Yeah, we're on 26.
Good, because I titled the thing.
Streaming live. And I heard it said it stopped recording. Do we care?
We do. 3, 2, 1.
Bah, 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 bah. Welcome back to the Cory Show.
What a great jingle.
I totally wrote it, and it totally doesn't sound like every other jingle ever written. We're watching a new cop show on
One.
I think it's on Netflix called SWAT. And it's good. It's like some of it's a little cliche or a little, banal, but like it's totally entertaining. But I've actually started letting the intro play because it's so A-Team 80s action cop, and I haven't heard an intro jingle like that and for so long that I actually enjoy it.
Yeah. We've watched some episodes too. It's pretty good. The guy that he's on Criminal Minds is the lead, and I really like that actor.
We couldn't watch that one. It was a little too violent. Like SWAT people get shot and they fall down, whereas like Criminal Minds, they were like being tortured. So the fine lines. Anyway, This is not what we are here to talk about. We are here for, at long last, after months and months, to finally be able to build our presets. So I will share my screen.
26, not bad.
I know you're not kidding, but it does sound funny.
No, I think it's really showing the actual journey. Maybe there's some immortal people, superheroes, that can build a product in like a week,
right?
With nuances that we try to do, and then have like a wizard hat about products. But honest is the other 99.9% of us do it this way.
Yeah.
So
and as we've talked about, I've actually now built it 3 times, not literally, but like, built a working MVP, but didn't use any sort of frameworks. And then, and sort of, I mean, the good part was I proved that the tech worked, that we could generate images and that kind of thing. And so I could reuse chunks of that code and all of that product design and thinking, but switched over to React, rebuilt a lot of the stuff, copy, paste, edit. And then I think, as I talked about the last time we had one of these calls, I was like, oh, I went way too far down various rabbit holes and have since gone back in and ripped so much stuff out, which has also helped me define a bunch of other things in terms of like, oh, what's the simplest way to do this? Like, what's, just create an image, save an image. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect in the way that like connecting all the data and storing 10 different data points so that you could walk back and, it's like, just save images. So in front of us, we have a blank slate, essentially, creating an image. So I think we'll use Open Graph Images as the template, or as the default size and shape to start with. So I don't think you've seen much of this revision, but the focus now is on, like before, like I think I said, the focus was on kind of like a blog post, like building a blog post. And now the focus is on creating images and saving them. And if you want to save as a project or a template, you can, but the focus is on, you come in and you're like, pick a post, and there's a little icon that tells you if it has a featured image or not. But so that you can come in and say, okay, add a background image of the featured image, and we get an error. And this is why I wanted to do this on my computer. These are all updates that I was doing last night and kept telling myself that I was going to be sorry. Let's try that again. Add background image. Guy that has a background image. So I think this is the default template, as we've talked about, like a full image or full, yeah, your featured image as OG image. So just sort of to illustrate the connection here, I've got a placeholder post, a little lorem ipsum, that has a featured image that is, you know, somebody's desk. And so by default, we can either stick with just the featured image, or we could take it further and do something very simple like the post title either in the center, or what I find myself doing is bottom left and adding, I think it's under formatting. Nope. Special effects. Background color. White.
That right there is awesome.
So something like that, right? Like dead simple, but already it's the featured image plus.
Yeah.
All right. So save as. So this is the fancy new. This is what you helped me with in one of my midweek Cory help calls of, we now have a save it as a featured image, save it as a open graph image, save it as the site open graph image, project template, save. So that's one. So then we'll call that default post template. Cool. One down, 15 to go. So this is where now we get back into the slides that you designed.
Go down to like 16, I think.
Okay.
Oh, well. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a basic OG site-wide image, but let's see, keep going down a little further, please. I think when you get close to like 20, maybe 23, keep going. These are all just the site-wide type templates. Keep going. Let's see if I can find it. Look at 32. But we probably want to, do we want to start with the basic ones? Like you've got this basic one, featured image, text on top.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't have devices. I'm calling them devices, but other people were calling them mockups. So we may change the name to mockup, but I don't have the device screenshot part rebuilt yet. So we'll be sticking with more something like this, where like inject image and then text.
Yeah. 36. This is the more complex.
Yep. So let's start with this one. Let's see how it goes. And then we can always walk back to other simpler ones.
Okay.
So create one. Did I show you this fanciness? So, okay. So one of the things that I walked back from an early version is looking at all of our examples of ogimage.me. A lot of this stuff is really dead simple. And then the other one we really got a lot out of was .gallery. looking at all of these, I was like, and there's ways to fake this stuff, right? If you create a background image with complexity, you can make it look like anything you want. But as far as like simple layouts, I was like, all of these are either one column, you know, logo, text, image, logo, text, image, or two columns. And I was like, okay, so just for the sake of something we haven't thought about later, we will support three columns. And so I have this fanciness over here where, so if you move your mouse over the image and you click on the button, now you have two columns.
That's great.
Ooh, and you resize them by dragging. Ooh. So
Oh,
this is where we said, looking at our mockup, we have two columns. So in our left-hand column, left column, and you can click to navigate around. Ooh. Let's give this a background color. Make sure it works. Yep. So let's do something sensible. Ooh, that's having some issues. What is your problem? Oh, because I changed the scale of it. Oh, I know why that's happening. Okay, so we will just pick something. Red, green, blue, 0, 0. Go away. 0. F. It's a dark blue. The bugs I need to fix. 3, 3. There's a nice blue. We'll give it a transparency. I guess that's purple. Here we go. Sure. So we've got a column with a background color. I will have to fix that. And then in there, we want, we have the post title. So were you thinking, oh, Business of WordPress is like name of the site?
that's the name of the column, I would say.
Oh, like article column,
Yeah,
series of articles.
yeah. But it could
Okay.
also be like the headline for a post.
Right. So if this was, I like my ut. I don't know why that, oh, background image came back. There we go. So there's the name of it. This is so weird. It's copying all of the attributes from that other template. That is so strange. I haven't actually seen this before. I don't know why it's doing that. Ah, crap. Okay, hold on. Let me get rid of the scaling. And then my color picker will just work. Oops. Reload. I want to know why this is copying attributes from another. Change this to, yeah, it comes back. That is bizarre. Give me just a second. I'll do at least a little debugging. Oh, I see why. I see why. Haha, now it'll be, there we go. Okay, so that's a goofy thing I gotta fix. Okay, so we wanted to add a second column. We want the first column to be somewhere in there. Let's see if this works better now. Yeah, my color picker now works, so I can pick a nice blue. Let's go with teal. Left column, we want to add the text. So the post title, again, let's go with something like that in case it's a little longer. Formatting, line height. Kind of tough to make it all fit on one line if it's big, so we'd have to play with that. But anyway, okay. So then we add an image below. So right now, I didn't get to author avatar. So I will update this when we save it as an actual like built-in preset to be the author avatar. An image lost all of its other attributes. That's strange. Gotta love live demos. But anyway, and then the other thing we wanted was the logo. Oh, so I didn't set that yet. So if we do save as project template, settings, OMG, site-wide logo. So this is where, let's actually use the post status logo. So I only have like the post status infinity symbol. Do you have a version of the logo with the text?
Yes.
One of the things that I think I'm going to introduce is originally, so it's kind of like how WordPress has a site icon like that you'd set in the what do they call it? With your themes, and it becomes your fave icon. But I think we're going to have the option of like being able to upload a number of logos, and then you can choose which one you want, essentially, rather than having to go get it from the media library.
Realizing. Realizing I don't have one immediately with a white text and
That's fine. Then I'll just use this guy for now.
here I got you something that's
okay. Yeah, we could sort of pretend that that's site logo. Go back here. Let's replace it. Yeah, so there you've got post status. So we'd pretend that had a transparent background.
I thought it did. Dang.
Again, it's fine. Placeholder for now. And then, okay, so then right column, week of. So this could be, oh, there you go.
Ignore it. I don't think that works either. Well, maybe it does.
No, it does. Yep, it's white with a transparent. So we save, we go to settings, update the logo. And this, again, this is why, like, I was trying to work this out and Lindsay helped me figure this out. She's like, instead of just one ultimate logo, like just and instead of losing your, because I think we all have this, right? Like you upload 10 different versions of your logo to the media library, and then you have to try to go find them every time. And so my thought was like, okay, we'll use the site icon, and it defaults to, if you already have one set in the customizer, then it'll pull that in, but you can obviously set one here. But I think we'll say, the same way that in here you can set like default fonts. You can also set default colors, like brand colors. There's another little quirk I gotta fix. But we'll have it so you can set brand logos, and so then you can choose from your different logos without having to dig them out of the media library. So that's now white. Cool. So then we go back to OMG and our template. Yeah, and so now we've got post status is white, so that looks better. Make this a little darker so it stands out more. Cool. And then in the right column, so it's like if the left column is the title of the series of articles, like in your example, you had, week 6. Like if this was our blog or this video series, we could say episode 26 or something. I feel like you could use, I don't think this is actually set on the post, but if you had, like if hello world, let's do this. We go, so hello world, what was your example? The business of WordPress roundup. So we'll call it WordPress business roundup. And then if excerpt, let's say was week 26, right? I think we can do this. Save your changes, refresh. So WordPress business roundup. Oh, it doesn't have a featured image. Let me grab a picture of a person. So again, I think this would be the author, right? Which again, I don't have, but I will build in documents, testing, image of a person. Left column. Boop, boop. So there you go. WordPress business roundup. That looks weird, but anyway. And then in the right column, we'd add text. Let's use the post excerpt. So week 26. Add a section text. So this is probably actually would be the excerpt, right? Like your bullet points probably are generally actually the excerpt, and WordPress doesn't have a concept of a subtitle. So that's something to think about.
So from an SEO perspective, that's interesting because we could tell people like, make your excerpt, like best practice would be make them like these bullet points. We should mention to Yoast about this, but hey, then they could be auto-generated. But from an SEO perspective, I want to make sure that's right. But that's a pretty cool way to do that, because that's what I tell this particular author. All our authors is do that too long didn't read bullet point list in excerpt, and then it gets pulled into featured image.
Yeah, and it makes sense in that concept. So rather than tweaking this design, you'd almost have, so the left-hand column is the summary of what you're looking at. It's the name of the TV show we're watching. And then on the right is this week's blurb or what have you. So we would do, so you have lorem ipsum. Oops. Update. Oh, where's post? There we go. So killing excerpt. So the excerpt, automatically is either what the first 55 words, or you'd say, in this week's article, we cover lorem ipsum amet. Update. So then over here, I think if I just jump back and forth. Yeah. So like in this week's article, we cover lorem ipsum amet, and then you'd have add a section text where you'd say site URL, right? But it's, and like if it was an actual button, it would, but you, so you'd go custom text, read. Why is it doing something goofy? Read more with text color, no, special effects. So you could sort of fake a button.
Mm-hmm.
Read more. And then let's add a section called logo. Oh, but see here, I've got the white one as the site logo. So let's do something different. Let's do your, well, do we need it? No, we don't need it. Sorry, I'm thinking too far ahead. So there you go. Oh, and so what might, for this use case, what might happen is the title of your post is probably going to be WordPress Business Roundup
Date. Yeah.
week 28. And obviously we're sort of making up the use case, but like that, it'd give you more or less what you need.
So if we do the custom text on the right side, we can do bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have to do UL, LI, or in HTML or?
No. So actually, I don't know if that's true. I'm lying to you. We go to the right column, post excerpt. Right, because excerpts don't support HTML. So if you wanted to change this to, I know I support multi-line. For some reason, it keeps kicking me out when I try to blur it. So what I'm curious about is, let's go here. Oh, that's, yeah, because it doesn't copy the bullets. Okay, so no. So that it supports like basic formatting, bolding, and stuff like that, but it doesn't currently support bullets, stuff like that. So we're going to want more of like a rich text editor.
I think if it had bold, italic, and then bullets, that probably capture the common use cases. Not like you have to do tiny MCE or anything.
Right. And that's, yeah. And that's why I grabbed this library. I was like, I want to at least do multi-line. So you can say, you can write multiple paragraphs in here. And if you wanted to do bold and italic.
Can you even just do asterisks? Read this one.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of get right.
Yeah, you could totally fake it. Read more. Oh, this is the button. So I'm in the wrong place anyway. So yeah, I mean, like right now we're pulling in the excerpt, so there's no formatting. But in theory, over here in your excerpt, you could say we cover lorem ipsum amet. I'm curious if I don't think this will translate like line breaks from the excerpt. No. So we'd want to pull that in, because excerpts are not, in WordPress, excerpts by default have no support for formatting, line breaks are lost, that kind of thing.
I don't, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it needs to be, excerpt should just be excerpt, but having the bulleted list.
Yeah.
Custom text bulleted list.
Yep. Yeah.
Like
Sorry, go ahead.
So where this comes from is I'm working with my marketing assistant team on their own social stuff, and I go bland featured, image with thing, not make it more useful, part of our conversations. And the way I think about it is like take 3 things out, of the post. Maybe they're the subheads or whatever it is. And that's where I tend to go like the listicle type thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's 3 things you're going to see in this post. And to me, this could be just me, but I prefer the bullets help my mind go, oh, yep.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And so I'm thinking of this as like a block quote. And this is one of the other sort of things that we had talked about doing at one point is
I love that.
I don't want save your changes. There you go. So we're sort of fake, using an excerpt here to fake a block quote, right? And we can get into things like, if you have a text, I call this a section. If you have a text section, then I could add a formatting thing down here that says like, add, big fancy quotes that are 50% opacity behind in that kind of style that you see everywhere, right?
That's awesome.
And we also talked about like this list of text sources, right, is already long. So you've got things pulled from the site, the title, description, URL. You've got things pulled from the post, and down the road, like we're going to get into pull in an ACF field. So you could add, in theory, and I'm not suggesting this as a solution, but it's like in theory, if like on one of my magazine client sites, right, they've got, so in addition to a title, I've added an ACF field. In the industry, this, it's called a deck. I still have no idea why, but the DEK, the subtitle of an article. And so being able to pull that in, great. Okay. So this list is already going to be long. So I'm going to have to build some sort of little widget that'll make it easy to select from a lot of sources. But one of those sources could be like, go scan the article for block quotes, because then this is what we talked about previously. And or down the road, we introduce AI and we say, go read the article and generate 3 bullet points, and pull it in. But as a starting point, boom, template number 2. Do you agree?
Yes.
Add a little padding. I've been getting fancy, man. Like, as I've talked to other people and they've shown me like what they're doing. What am I missing?
Ooh.
Oh, I broke it. Okay. So we'll leave it alone. Anyway, so there's template number 2.
It's great.
2 based off of slide 36.
Look at number 35.
Okay. Right. This was the other one we came up with last week. Okay. So moving on. OG, create it. I don't know why it's pulling in that template. So we'll start with
For clarity, Cory. So when you're selecting OG image, that's probably the most versatile thing for all the social networks. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
New channel. This was working. There we go. Okay, so now we say,
Basically,
boy.
I'd say headline on the top.
Yep. Trying to think. Yeah, so we've got text. So it's one column. Text. 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 Just close this. So some of this I don't think we can do yet. I should have looked at this. So what we can do is, how can we fake this? Background color. Is that blue? Oops.
Or you can make it any color. I think I was just finding stuff.
Yeah, sure. It's like, it's fun to see how close we can get. Black, white. Why isn't that working? There we go. Blue. And then the column, which has the site title. Or the post title in this instance, launching a WordPress product, session 24. So if we did post title, WordPress business roundup. So again, what I think I don't have here, I think the background color is gonna, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the third one is, again, our custom text that says, oops. Read more. There's our call to action. The second one, again, might be the excerpt. And then on the site, we add a logo. There it goes, post status. So bottom right. So what I need to add to this center column is, it can top a line. And over here, if I kill the, padding. Right, okay, so the right now, the background color on a text element only extends as far as the text itself.
Okay.
Not side to side. So I'd need to update that. And then I have no way to do like a block of color on the bottom to just be like, this still doesn't look bad with the logo on the bottom right and stuff, but it's not what we want. So I'm going to have to figure out like formatting options to do block of color, block of color, block of color. I like this. Like, I know that these are arbitrary, but I like that it's, pretending you're the client and you're coming to me and going, this is the design requirement, make it happen.
Yeah.
So this is a really good exercise. Okay. So save as template. And then this one, slide 30. Needs work. Okay. Oh, the other neat one that I had here. Center column. Oh, this is the thing that broke. Oh no, border. Border. Oh yeah, this is the thing that broke. Okay, so not border. But yeah, I mean, just looking at those three side by side, like if you walked in and you were like, create a new image, and it had essentially these three, you know, the first one done more correctly, but had these three side by side, like you're already winning.
Yeah.
Which was exactly our goal.
Looking on here. I wonder if we, yeah, like number 40.
Oops. Oh, and so when you save a project as a template, they then show up in here. Oh, that's why I keep seeing why it keeps reloading. So I need to put a little star next to this or something, because your templates show up first. And so you actually have to come down here to say open graph. That's why it's loading them. So yeah, these need to be differentiated. But anyway, okay. So we're loading a blank. Hello. Nope, it won't let me choose any. There we go. Twitter profile. There. Okay. Another nice little bug. Okay, so we were talking about, can a column? So a column right now can only have a background color. So I feel like for this, that you'd want the column to have a background image. So we could sort of fake this with making post featured image looks like that. So we need a background positioning, it seems like. But I also, again, I think the better solution here would just be a column could have a background image. Because so if we went to column 2, because the way to fake this would be sort of like that.
No, you put the image of the author in one of those columns previously.
Right. But if I add an image section and an image element, I don't have a way for it to fill the whole box.
I got you.
Because it's more that it's like it's meant to just be floating in space, like a logo, or like if you pick something from the media library. Now you can do image size. Okay, so I guess you could, but it extends. I'll need to fix that too. You can rotate it, get all fancy with it, but doesn't really accomplish what we want. So there's no way to delete that section. Interesting. Huh. Apparently my image sections are all messed up. But yeah, so it seems like we want columns need a background image, which kind of makes sense. And you need to be able to position it around, align it, make it big, and then say, show me the middle, show me the top left, what have you, so that you could get to, because the likelihood is you wouldn't have an image, the likelihood is that actual image is a wide rectangle, right? And you've got a number of people, but you're like, okay, let me zoom in on this one person and move it so that I can see the left edge of it.
Yep.
Let me kill this. But so yeah, if the left column had a image background, for now, let's fake it with a background color. And then you had headline on the right, column 2, add text. So again, post title, add a section. This would be post excerpt. And so this one would be smaller. And then you added. You could either do a logo overall, which might be better, instead of a logo in here. Let's kill that. And instead we'll do options, logo, bottom right. But again, we're sort of running into the logo you sent me is white. But so if I did, oops, you sent me that one that was all black. Oh, wait, let me take the white one. Getting fancy over here. I'm opening Photoshop. And I'm going to say, create a black version of the logo, essentially. Color overlay. We'll just do gray, export, PNG, downloads. Do you spell gray with an E or an A?
Sorry. Shit. I was trying to get it logo to you and I dropped it in another folder. Dang it.
It's okay. I created a gray version. So.
Okay. Did it again.
But yeah, something dead simple like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Little vertical spacing.
Yeah, looks good.
But yeah, so if that left column, I mean, even this, right? Like if that left column by default was a brand color, the post status orange, but if the post had a featured image that got auto-populated in there, you're still good to go.
Yeah. Number 40. You wanted to name that.
Thank you. I'm going to charge you extra for having post status logos on all of our presets.
I mean, the first one you did is probably going to be the most popular.
Yeah.
I would think.
Dead simple. Just works. Easy peasy. But it's also, I mean, what I love about it too, I wish borders were working, is one of the customer interviews I did, they had something similar to this. I think they had it centered and then they had a border. And so the border was just kind of floating, and it just adding like a 1 pixel white line rectangle, suddenly it classed it up. You know, it's one of those just little things.
Yep.
See if I can. Come on. Yeah, doesn't like me right now. I think it was the border width that died. Yep. Oh, right. Order. Oh, come on. Just work. No, you wanna. There it goes. Hey. Oh, I know. Yeah, so like that. I mean,
That looks nice, dude.
right?
That's
Like that was one of those things. Like he showed me what he does. I was like, oh, just adding that border over the image,
yeah,
like just
really nice.
classes it up somehow.
Yeah. The only plus one I'd even think about with that is the logo.
Mm-hmm.
That looks nice.
Which we can do. Add logo, top right.
Yep.
So there's your post status logo, but it's in white, so it's kind of hard to see. But I mean, you can get the idea.
Yeah.
There you go, post status in the middle. So it's like if you were previewing this, oh yeah, with a different different guy, like then it would jump out.
Yeah. I think how Canva uses that is they like you've already started it, but it has a brand kit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
And maybe if there's you know, tooltip instructions, like you probably want to upload wide light on dark, dark on light logos.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, right now you can add fonts including Google fonts. Save your changes, break everything. Oh boy, now I really broke it. Okay, never mind that. But anyway, yeah, you can select a handful of fonts. So they are the first option. It's probably gonna break because I now selected.
That looks really nice. I know the font doesn't pop, but it still looks really nice, that first template you did. But it shows the value of the image.
Right. Right. Yeah, and yeah, getting into some simple, it's like ways to make an overall design work well in graphic design is like you want something fat, you want something skinny, you want something light, you want something dark. And so that's why, like, adding the single pixel border works over the chunkiness of the text. Your logo, post status logo, is finer and rounder, and so it complements like the squares elsewhere well. If somebody else's logo was a square, then you'd want to add something round somewhere. But the way that I have this now, you can sort of tell from these drop downs, right? Is like, and this is as I explained a few calls ago, like this was the main reason for needing to reformat or rebuild this thing is with this setup, I can add infinite attributes, I call them, which is, I mean, nerd speak, but basically like I can add infinite options for formatting, for colors, for background colors, for, rotating. I mean, basically anything we want. So we can have all of these different options, including like, oh, if you want to make things rounder, one, you could choose a rounder font, but you could add, border radius so that you've got rounded corners on, so that read more would become more like a button because you've added, you can make it round, like how people think of up here, my save your changes round, it looks like a button. So getting into stuff like that, and then even options down the road of like, there'll be for a text element, there'll be an option here that just says like, make it look like a button. And then you can tweak it and make it more of that call to action style. But yeah, lots of bugs, more than I swear I had yesterday, but but enough to get where we need.
Yeah. I was looking on one of Lindsay's client sites because they've got a feature image and how they're actually doing things real quick.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah.
And then I think so, and one of the things that'll work well here is at least some of these templates will translate. So like this is shaped for Open Graph. Let's shape it, change the shape for Instagram. And then background, image size. So again, so it makes sense to me that we want to be able to move that background image around. Yeah. So I'll do a little something like this where it's like, okay, show me the top left, bottom right, whatever. But, instant resize for Instagram, that still looks great.
Yeah.
And so you can do this, resize it, just save the image. So you download the image, throw it on Instagram. Your template stays set for Open Graph, or you could, what I want to do is basically save a copy. So then you could create your perfect template and then resize it for Instagram and then save that as your separate Instagram template.
Yeah.
But yeah, in an hour, we did it.
Cool. All right. We may next time plug in some of these live client site stuff. Like she's got this mental health center, for instance, and looking down through here, it'd be cool to kind of use this as a test because it's like subhead content with bullet points, multiple bullet points I'm looking at. Yeah, every section has a bullet point. And like the title is like what causes an anxiety attack? Anxiety versus panic attack, what causes what to do during an anxiety attack. Like, see, this section she's got here is what to do during an anxiety attack with 5 bullet points. That could be on that one of these others where we're talking about the bullet points. And like when you're talking about shifting it to Instagram, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, and how powerful is that? Like in one card, you've gone from, maybe an image that says what to do during an anxiety attack, which is not helpful. It's clickbaity. Like it's not wrong, but like if you're Googling, I'm having an anxiety attack, what do I do? And a card comes up that actually shows you like, here are the 4 steps to take.
Yeah.
You've won, you know. And yes, hopefully they still click through to the article. Like, let's not fool ourselves. We're on the internet, we want traffic, but I love the value, the inherent value of that.
Yeah. Yeah, just seeing that angle is so interesting because they create the long form content, SEO content for these clients. And it's got, I was just scanning down through that one article and I go, there's 1, 2, how to prevent anxiety attacks. So like there's 3, what causes like there's 3 Instagram social posts easily out of one post.
Yep.
And then OMG makes it easy to really quickly create that.
Yeah. If we can figure out the patterns of how do you pull that content out of an article?
Yeah.
Right. And obviously as a human, you could copy paste, download, copy paste, download. But like, as we talked about, if it's formatted as a blog post, I can automatically pull it out. Maybe if it's a bullet point list, we could automatically pull it out. I just don't, I'd be worried that most articles don't necessarily conform to that, but block quotes for sure. The excerpt for sure is like, worst case, it's the first couple of sentences. Best case, they are actually, like on my music blog, that review website that I always talk about, like the excerpts are actually, I go through the article, I find one of the best quotes, and then I say, you know, as reviewed, you know, read the full review or something. And so it's like the excerpt is intentionally set, would be the way to say it.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can figure out those kinds of patterns, and then again, down the road, AI, forget it. And just 2 clicks and it'll just figure it all out for you. But I think what, you know, my rant from a few calls ago was down the road. So one of the next, I mean, aside from all the little details, fixing the bugs, right, and starting to add more of these styles, features that we talked about, like we need to be able to do a block of color all the way across, yada yada. It's like, that's, you know, the long tail inside of the builder. But as I ranted a few weeks ago, like I also want to go sideways, where from the whole product, where you pick one of these, and what what isn't built yet is the option to say, when a post gets published, automatically generate the image using this template. And so you don't even have to go into a post and create an image. It's just done at publish time. And then the step beyond that is to say, use these 3 templates, generate these 3 images when a post gets published. And the first template is the OG card, OG image. The second template is an Instagram square that has block quote it has the block quote as the featured quote, or it has the excerpt, excuse me, as filled in, like we show in one of these templates. And then the third one has, you know, look for a block quote and pull in a block quote. And so the next time you go in, you're like, oh, there's already all of these amazing images sitting here waiting for me. I can now download them and upload them to Twitter, Instagram, whatever. And there's going to be it's going to get more complex, obviously, as we introduce that kind of automated stuff. But that's, you know, for me, it's way back when we were still talking about Crop Express. We were talking about saving steps, making your workflow less painful, and then ideally more fun. But even starting with like, oh, if I'm publishing a post, I don't have to do these next 10 steps. Holy crap, time saved.
Yep. I was just looking at Canva AI. They call it Magic Write. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah.
The output of this is what we're doing in this next iteration. But what you're talking about with AI, this is really interesting. Just a little thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's your
Yep.
line there.
Yeah. It's really neat. Like I finally got the Photoshop has had in beta, has had for a while the auto image generator, and they finally released it publicly. I could never get the beta to work. And so it was like, took a picture of like we're having a fireplace, or we're having an insert put into the house, gas insert. We're going to design and build our own fireplace. So I took a picture of the wall, I brought it into Photoshop, and then I said, okay, Photoshop, create a fireplace with a mantle with 2 bookcases in white wood. And what it generated was terrible. But it's a start, like this, we are at the very beginning of this kind of magic where as it gets more sophisticated, we're going to be able to take advantage of this kind of stuff. And of course, like, as I talked about after WordCamp US, one of the first comments I got from people was, not only are you able to edit, do everything you just saw in the demo we just did, but click a button. And so instead of having to go to Unsplash or stock photo, whatever, you're just like, give me a picture of a woman working at a laptop in a coffee shop. Boom. Great. Now do everything we just showed, where you put the title of the post over it, you put your logo in the corner, and you hit save, and that's your featured image. Like, because it's, more and more what we're hearing, like we have talked nonstop about OG images. But honestly, a lot of the feedback that I've been getting from customers is actually the pain point is, yes, once eventually dragging it into Canva, but is actually going and finding if it's not a news article where there's already where a photographer went to the fire and took a picture of the building, or went to the music festival and took a picture of the band playing. If you've written an article, the 10 best ways to optimize your productivity, you're now spending 10 minutes on Unsplash looking for a picture that somehow represents productivity. So it's cool because, like, initially I'm using AI little by little, more and more in my daily workflow. And obviously I'm blown away. Like, I'm not cynical about it at all. I'm blown away with the possibilities, but I have not yet seen too many of the use cases where it's like, this makes sense in my daily life. But little by little, I'm starting to see things like a Photoshop integration, a Canva integration. It's like, okay, yeah, this is where it's really going to enhance our lives. And it's not about doing the job for me. It's about helping me do my job better.
Yep.
And so that's the next step of, we say next step, it'll be 6 months or a year. We need to get this thing out the door in the first place. But, when we get to the point of that magical iteration that has image generation and or text parsing and or, write me a summary of any of those integration points, amazing.
Yeah.
And it might even end up being, like, I know there's people working hard to integrate AI into WordPress full stop, and it might even just end up being like something that's built in, which would be amazing. If every blog post already had a button that just said generate a summary to be used wherever, write my excerpt for me,
Yeah.
then we just take advantage of that. But anyway, the
Good
future.
Stuff. Yep.
My jetpack.
Good stuff, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's been a lot of hard work. It's still full of bugs, but coming along well.
I really do. I didn't get to say this in the very beginning, but the column and the dragging of the columns, superb.
Thank you.
That kind of stuff, making it just easy where they don't have to find a dial, but just kind of moving things where they want. That's really good stuff.
Yeah. And that's, I'm having fun. I'm trying not to make the whole thing too clever. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from, like, I use Beaver Builder as my page builder of choice. And then part of the reason that I like it and liked it from the beginning when I was evaluating all of them was I was like, a lot of my clients are not designers, they are non-technical people. They can go in and build a layout because they're like, once you sort of explain to them the concept of rows and columns, like there is a grid here, now they go, okay, I'm thinking in terms of vertical stacked things side by side and making them, being able to slide to make the columns change sizes. And so I'm trying to emulate some of that. Some of it's, again, it's, I worry about it being too clever, but I think it's the quickest way to accomplish what we need anyway.
Love it.
Cool, man. Well, thank you. This was fun.
Thank you for all your work to get here.
We're close. And the rest of I think like updates are now working. And so I'm actually going to start pushing, like, get it to where I think most of the bugs are squashed, push it online, add another feature to push it online. So pretty soon I want to have you get it on post status, using it or not, but obviously hopefully using it, but at least testing those kind of basic, like, does it work as a plugin? Does it crash my site? Just what everybody wants to hear before I start sending it to other clients and people who are have less skin in the game, let's say.
I like it.
All right, man. We will catch up soon.